Good morning class. Today we will be starting new chapter, that is chapter 11, sense organs. If I ask you to name a sense organ that is present in human body, I guess you will be able to name them, right? What are those? Those are your eyes, nose, ears, tongue and skin. You have 5 sense organ. So we will be dealing in detail about only eyes and ears. Okay, so what is the role of sense organs? What do sense organs do? It makes us aware of the external changes and as well as internal changes. Okay, for example, our eyes visualizes certain things. It is then analyzed by the brain and then action is taken by us. So your eyes are helping you to eyes making you aware of what you have in front of you or what is the changes that you are noticing, right? Now how is this possible? That is possible because of the receptors present in an eye. Now what do you mean by receptor? Receptors are specialized cells which responds towards certain stimuli. All these sense organ have different types of receptors which are sensitive towards certain stimuli. Okay, so first let us discuss in detail about the types of receptors. You need to have just a brief idea about what is it. Okay, now types of receptors. There are 5 types of receptors. Number 1 is your mechanoreceptors. Okay, now where are these present? Your mechanoreceptors are present in your skin and they are sensitive towards your touch or pressure because of any mechanical changes. Okay, these receptors senses those changes related to touch or pressure. They are present in your skin. Next one is your chemoreceptors. Chemo means chemicals. So obviously this receptor will sense the chemicals. So where are these receptors present? They are present in your tongue and nose. Because of the presence of these receptors only, you are able to taste certain food and you are able to smell different things. Okay, so these receptors are present in your tongue and nose and they are sensitive towards different chemicals. Okay. Now next is your photoreceptors. Photo means light. So what uses the light and helps you to visualize the image? Obviously your eyes. So where are these photoreceptors present? They are present in your eyes. Your rods and cones of the retina, which we will be discussing later on when we discuss about the structure of eyes, what are rods and cones. These are the receptors which are sensitive towards the light. Okay, so these photoreceptors are present in your eyes. Now next is your thermoreceptors. Thermo means heat, something related to temperature change. Okay, so these thermoreceptors are also present in the skin, but here the receptor senses the change in the temperature, whether it's hot or cold is sensed by this thermoreceptor. Okay, we had already discussed about one more receptor that was present in the skin, that was mechanoreceptor, that sensed the mechanical changes or external changes that related to touch or pressure, but here your thermoreceptor is responding towards the temperature changes. Okay. Now next is your phonoreceptors. These phonoreceptors are present in your ears and they help in recognizing the sound or they are sensitive towards the sound, so they help in enables us to hear the different sounds around us. So that's all about the different types of receptors. You need to have an idea about where are these present. Okay. From this chapter, we will be discussing in detail about 2 important sense organs. Those are your eyes and ears. For today's class, we will be discussing only about eyes. Okay, what does eyes help you in? We all know it helps in image formation, right? Where are your eyes present? They are present in front of your head in a depression. There is a small depression. That depression can be called as eye socket or orbit. Okay, now your eye is in the shape of a ball shaped, that's why you call it as a eyeball. Also you have 6 important muscles which helps in rotating those eyeballs. Okay, now let us discuss first about the external feature of the structure or parts of your eye. They do not have any important function in image formation, but they have certain protective function. Okay, so the external structure or parts, you have eyelids, you have eyelashes, you have eyebrows, and you have tear glands. Okay, first let us discuss about eyelids. We all know which part of your eye is called eyelids, right? This portion of your eyes is referred to as eyelids. What is the function of the eyelids? The function of the eyelid is to protect your eyes, your front surface of your eyes, from any external dirt or let it be germs. Okay, and it also prevents excess amount of light to enter your eyes, so that no damage can be caused. Okay, so as soon as if I focus a torch in front of your eyes, what happens? You simply close your eyelids. So what is eyelids doing? It's preventing excess amount of light to enter your eyes. Okay, eyelashes, hair-like structure that's adjoined with your eyelashes or eyelids. What does this eyelashes do? This eyelashes prevents your sweat or water to directly enter your eyes. Okay, internal your front surface of your eyes. Then you have eyebrows. Though this eyebrows cannot be considered into the structure of an eye, but it has certain role to perform. Okay, what does it do? It, just like your eyelashes, it prevents the water or the sweat to directly enter your eyes. Okay, now next is your tear glands. Tear glands, the name itself suggests you that it helps in production of the tear. Okay, now your tear glands are present in the upper portion of your eye socket. Okay, upper portion of your eye socket. Now this tear glands, it produces tears. What is the role of the tear? It lubricates the front surface of the eyes, and it also has one enzyme named lysozyme, which fights against bacteria. Actually, it prevents bacterial infection. Okay, so those are the external structure of your eyes. You all are very much familiar with these parts. Now now let us discuss about the structure of eye. Okay, your eyeball consists of 3 layers. Okay, is made up of 3 layers. The outermost layer is known as sclera. Okay, the middle one is termed as choroid, and your innermost layer where the image formation takes place is known as retina. Okay, sclera, choroid, and retina. Sclera is the outermost one. It's a tough fibrous layer. It is white in color. The white portion that you see in your eyes is sclera. But as the sclera extends forward, it bulges, becomes curved, and also becomes transparent. Near the iris region, near the colored part of your eye, it becomes transparent. Okay, now next one is your middle layer is your choroid. This choroid layer is fully supplied with blood vessel, and all the nourishment is provided to the eyeball by this choroid layer. Okay, now let us discuss about other parts which are present in your choroid layer. Now your choroid layer also, as it extends forward, okay, what happens? Before merging to this colored portion, your choroid layer forms a ciliary body. The function of this ciliary body consists of different muscles which helps in adjusting the lens. Okay, adjustment of the lens is done by your ciliary body, and ciliary body further extends and forms a iris. Okay, your iris is the colored portion of your eye. Okay, some of us have black, some of us have brown, some of us have bluish color. That is your iris. The colored portion of your eye is known as iris. That is because of the presence of a pigment called melanin. Okay, now your iris though it does not cover the lens fully. Okay, it leaves an aperture here. That aperture is known as pupil. What is the function of the pupil? The function of the pupil is to adjust how much amount of light should enter our eye. Okay, the adjustment of the light is done by your pupil. Okay, now your iris has two type of muscle, radial muscles and circular muscle. Now your radial muscle, what does it do? It widens the pupil, and your circular muscle, what does it do? It constricts the pupil. Okay, so adjustment of the pupil is done by your iris. Okay, so that's all about choroid. In your choroid layer, what are the other parts that you have? Ciliary body, iris and pupil. Ciliary body, what does it do? It helps in adjustment of the lens. Okay, so that we can see far away objects and nearby objects clearly. So that adjustment is done by your ciliary body. Now you have iris. Iris is the colored part of the eye. What does its main function is to not let all the lights to reflect back. Okay, that is also done by your iris. Okay, and prevent the scattering of the light inside. That is also done by your iris. Then you have like I told you, the iris doesn't cover the lens fully, so it leaves a aperture here. That aperture is known as pupil. Now the adjustment of the pupil is also done by your iris. Okay, it has two type of muscles, I said, radial muscle and circular muscle. So it helps in either widening or constricting the pupil, because the role of the pupil is to adjust what amount of light should be entering our eyes. So that's all about choroid. Okay, sclera and choroid. Now we will be discussing in detail about retina, lens. Okay, you have a lens. What is the role of the lens? Whatever the light is entering, you have what kind of lens? You have biconvex lens. Okay, which helps in conversing the light entering our eye. Okay, so your light enters, reaches the lens, and then converges, and the image is formed in your retina region. Image is formed here in the retina region. So biconvex lens, convex, you know the property of a convex lens, right? It converges the light, so image formation takes place. So this lens helps in image formation, okay, by converging the light that is entering our eye. Now we will be discussing about the innermost layer of your eyeball, that is retina. Like I told you, here the image formation takes place. So you have your receptor cells here. The photoreceptor cells are present in your retina region. Okay, the name of those photoreceptor cells are rods and cones. Rods and cones are the name of the photoreceptor cells. Like I told you, these receptor cells are sensitive towards the light, so they sense the light. Now your rods are sensitive towards dark light, okay, and your cones are sensitive towards bright light. In the night, when you are able to visualize the thing around you, that is because of the response of rod cells. Okay, rod cells help us to visualize the things in dark room, whereas your cones helps us to visualize the thing in your bright colored is visualized by your cone cells. They are only sensitive towards the bright light, whereas your rods are sensitive towards the dark light. Now distribution of the rods and cones in your eye. Rods, more or less, they are present all over the retina, okay, but cones are present in the back of your eye. You have a spot called yellow spot. Here the maximum amount of your cone cells are present. Okay, this yellow spot is present at the back of the eye at the horizontal axis. Middle portion of your horizontal axis, you have a yellow spot. Okay, this yellow spot is the region where a maximum amount of cones are present. And what is the role of a cone cell? The role of a cone cell is to visualize in the bright light. Okay, that's why while we are reading a book, we move our eyes up and down, going through the words. While we are going through the words one by one, we move our eyes up and down in order, because the maximum visualization of a bright colored object or in a bright light is done by the yellow spot, because here you have a cone cells. Okay, another one is your blind spot. What is blind spot? Blind spot is the reason where you do not have rod cell nor your cone cells. It's the reason of no vision. You do not have rods or cone cells here in the blind spot. Then what does it have? This blind spot is the reason where your axon of the sensory nerve bundle up and is connected to the occipital lobe of your brain. Of which part of your brain? Cerebrum, because analysis of what you are visualizing is done in the occipital lobe. Here in the retina, the image form is inverted. Okay, in your occipital lobe, brain analyzes the impulse sent through this sensory nerve and then makes your image upright. So your blind spot is the reason where your axons of the sensory cells bundle up. Okay, that's why here in this region you do not have rods or cone cells, because of which this is the reason of no vision, because if you don't have rods and cone cells, there will be no vision. So this is all about the structure of eye. Now this lens divides the structure of an eye into two chambers. One in front of the eye is known as aqueous chamber. Okay, aqueous chamber is filled with a fluid. What is the function of the fluid? That fluid is also referred to as aqueous humor. And what does that aqueous humor do? Aqueous humor lubricates your lens. Okay, and the innermost chamber after the eye lens, the chamber that is formed is known as vitreous chamber, and the fluid inside is known as vitreous humor. What does the vitreous humor do? It keeps the eye in a proper shape. Okay. Now, other than your cornea, you have one more protective transparent layer outside the cornea. That layer is known as conjunctiva. Okay. Sometimes the reddening of the eye takes place. In that case, we tell you to, what do we tell you? We tell you to wear specs and come or not come to the school for a days. Why? The reddening of the eye is caused because of viral infection. Okay, viral infection leading to the distortion of conjunctiva, because of which the reddening of the eye takes place. Now, other than your lens, your cornea, the curvature of the cornea also helps in converging the light that is entering your eyes. Okay, so today we have discussed about the different structure of an eye, external, internal, both. Next important topics are your accommodation, how your lens adjusts itself in order to view the far away objects and nearby objects. Okay, how our pupil constricts or dilates in case of dark and light defect of an eye because of loosening of your widening of your lens or lengthening of your lens or changing the structure of an eyeball, and how those defects can be corrected. We will be dealing with all this topic in our next class. Okay, if you have any problem related to your structure of eye, you can message. Thank you.